I first started playing Roblox in late 2015, so while I'm not considered an old player by actual old players who joined between the years 2006 to 2014, I still experience things from old Roblox that we no longer have, like tickets, forums, the old website layout, etc. But when you go to TikTok, you got little kids saying, 2020 was old Roblox, which I think is crazy until you realize that 2020 was 5 years ago, and that makes me feel super old. And I've reached a point where every time I look at modern Roblox, it just kind of feels empty. It lacks personality, the blocky aesthetic that once thrived on the platform almost feels non-existent, and the childhood vibe of the platform just kind of doesn't exist anymore. But it's not like the 5-year-olds playing Forsaken and drawing suggestive content of fictional characters would even notice. I remember seeing a Reddit post relating to old Roblox, and one of the replies was from a parent who said something like, I used to play Roblox when I was a kid, and now my kids play Roblox, which only further proves how persistent Roblox is and how old it really is. So let's see how much of Roblox has changed throughout the years. Disclaimer. Now, I do want to say that before I continue this video, I'm not making it to bash modern Roblox. Don't get me wrong, modern Roblox has a lot of issues, but that isn't to say those issues weren't prevalent even back then when I first started playing. I simply wanted to talk about the differences between 2015 and modern Roblox and whether or not I like those changes or not, but that's it. Let's continue the video. Honestly, when I first started writing the script for this video, I didn't really have an idea in mind of what I wanted it to be. I sort of wanted to talk about how much better Roblox felt back then and the flaws it had too. Like for example, the website layout. Back then, oh my god. Back then, dark mode wasn't a thing. Keep in mind it took Roblox 13 years to add dark mode, like how hard would it have been to make the menu look darker? But to make up for it, Roblox had a website layout with a lot of personality. The menu at the top of the website used to be blue, and already one big thing you notice is how nothing you see here has the same name nowadays. Roblox experiences used to be called Roblox experiences used to be called games. To this day, that's still one of the stupidest Roblox updates. The create tab used to be called develop, and the marketplace used to be called catalog. Still one of the dumbest name changes on Roblox. Even the actual games page had a lot more personality. It made you want to play a game, experience. Now, whenever I scroll on the games page, it just feels soulless. At this point, I don't even want to play a game anymore. Even the Roblox catalog back then had a lot of personality. Like a few months ago, Roblox completely changed the layout of the quote-unquote marketplace and made it way worse. I thank God that catalog avatar creator exists because I hate shopping on this new layout. Why change something that never caused issues in the first place? If it was never broken, why fix it? Anyways, I'm gonna skip over the develop page and what used to be called the library page, I think it's just called the store now, and go straight to the home page. This page right here was the first thing you would see when you played Roblox for the first time. Unless you were either a guest or on mobile, where in that case it would look like this. This is peak. And it had so much more personality. It was quite literally welcoming. Roblox would greet you every time you logged onto the site. I remember every time you would go on the site up until like 2021, you would see hello, insert name here, or like welcome, insert name here, and I think Roblox should bring it back. Like, why wouldn't you want your players to feel welcomed on your website? I remember there used to be only the continue tab, the friends playing tab, and the favorites tab. Nowadays, you see hundreds of games on the home tab alone, and I don't know, I just really dislike it. Why does the home page have to be so convoluted? There also used to be a feed feature which Roblox removed around like 2019, 2020, and I think the concept of a feed page is actually really cool. Roblox should bring it back. Another thing I hate is how you have to scroll past a bunch of random games just to find your favorites. I get that you could just click on your profile and find it that way, but the whole point of the home tab was to be a hub for your games, friends, and feed. The homepage is probably one of the most desecrated parts of the website just because of the amount of things Roblox removed and the dumb things they added for what I could guess is probably no good reason. Anyways, I'm just gonna skip over everything else on the website like the avatar editor and inventory because I don't really care to talk about them, especially since the old avatar editor was kind of mid looking back and the inventory is the exact same. But anyways, another thing we need to talk about is the actual games on Roblox, or experiences. If there was one thing I had to name that's improved throughout the years on Roblox, it's definitely the games itself. Even back in 2015 when I started Roblox, a lot of the games that often got on the front page were games that were made several years prior, or games that were kind of simple. Like for example, there was this one game I played a lot back then called Fall Downstairs, a game made by Bluxer where, as the name implies, you jump downstairs, and every time you jump down the stairs you get points in game which in return you could spend on different items. I remember there being a pencil item you could troll people with. Unsurprisingly, the game is dead and was last updated in 2018, 10 whole years after it was made. And along with these games made several years prior to 2015, you also had 2015 games that were a lot more simpler compared to modern games on Roblox, like Row Citizens, which if I recall correctly was a roleplay game similar to Welcome to the Town of Robloxia. You also had Prison Life, Roblox High School, Apocalypse Rising, Natural Disaster Survival, Super Checkpoint, Whatever Floats Your Boat, Work at a Pizza Place, and a slew of murder related games like Murder Mystery, Twisted Murder, Assassin, etc. And eventually you start to notice a pattern with a lot of these games. They were super simple, from the way they were built to even the concepts of them. Back then, the most advanced game that I could think of on Roblox was probably Child Forces, I mean Phantom Forces. I'm sorry, that joke was stupid. Which would never be considered super advanced if it released today. Even the dynamic lighting on Roblox was different back then. But at the end of the day, you still have to give props to these older games and the devs who made them, because a lot of them still get place visits to this day, especially Work at a Pizza Place, Natural Disaster Survival, and Super Checkpoint. And one of the biggest reasons why these games are still relevant to this day, apart from them getting consistent updates, is due to the simplicity of these games, which helped gave them a lot of replay value. Natural Disaster Survival. All you do is survive a number of different disasters. Pretty simple. Work at a pizza place. You have different jobs in the game, like cashier, pizza maker, pizza deliverer, if that's a word, the person who keeps all the ingredients and items in stock, and manager. Pretty simple. Super Checkpoint. It's an obby game with different gameplay modes. Pretty simple. So while a lot of the games made back then were super simple compared to the games we have nowadays, they still manage to age pretty well and sometimes still get updates to this day. And it's pretty crazy looking back at a lot of those games now, considering the amount of advancements Roblox made to their client, providing less limitations for devs and cooler, more advanced games. One other thing I'd say improved throughout the years on Roblox was the catalog itself. With the introduction to UGC in 2018, or was it 2019? Whatever, I don't really care. Came a lot of different items on Roblox. Nowadays, you could search something on the catalog and actually find it, whereas in 2015, users can only make shirts, pants, and t-shirts, causing the catalog to be pretty limited. And don't get me wrong, Roblox back then did publish items to the catalog pretty often, but it was nothing compared to what we have now. I remember back then it was significantly harder to find hairstyles on the catalog, especially black hairstyles like dreads, box braids, twists, or cornrows, compared to now when there's like hundreds of different kinds of hairstyles on the catalog. Of course, that isn't to say that the catalog now doesn't have any flaws too, especially with the weirdos and strange communities that exist on Roblox now that make items that are way too inappropriate to be on Roblox. I'm not gonna name any of the items that they like to publish, I'll just show censored screenshots, but you get the idea. The amount of inappropriate things on the catalog now compared to back then is insane because of UGC. Another thing that should be brought up is the amount of lazy items that exist in the catalog now due to UGC. Some people straight up take limiteds published by Roblox and sell them for cheaper. There's some people who don't think it's a big deal, and then there's others who think it's a major issue considering it's against the TOS. Honestly, I'm kinda split about it since I have bought one of these fake limited items before. Not to look rich or anything, that's just corny, but just cause I thought it looked cool on my avatar. But yeah, that's all I have to say about the catalog. Let's move on. Another big thing that changed throughout the years was, of course, the Roblox logo. Roblox updated their logo in 2015 to this cleaner version of their previous thicker looking logo, and it was the perfect logo. This part was not in the script, but wow. The amount of times I said logo. It captured the robotic and blocky essence of Roblox. It had the childhood aura as well, and it almost looks like it was drawn by an actual kid. The fact that Roblox ended up changing the logo 2 years later to this day is still dumb to me, but at least it still had the robotic blocky aesthetic. The logos we got after were all ass. The 2018 gray logo stripped away any personality, or lack thereof, of the 2017 logo. The 2019 logo being black didn't need to exist at all, and the monochrome logo is the worst out of all of these. It looks so corporate. It literally looks like a logo a movie villain would make. The fact that Roblox even went through with making this logo still amazes me. Why? What was the purpose? And then you have the new 2025 logo, which doesn't look any better at all. I have nothing to say about this one other than that it kinda has similar colors to the Facebook logo, which I don't like at all. Next, we got exploiters. For some reason, exploiters always like to emphasize that they're exploiters and not hackers, but like, who cares? If anything, hacker sounds way cooler than exploiter. But anyways, yeah, exploiters used to be way more common in 2015 and they were also way worse back then too. If you were to exploit back in 2015, everyone will see all of your exploits. There were different exploit GUIs like Cool GUI, which I'm sure a lot of Forsaken players are familiar with, or Row Exploit, each of which had abilities to change the skybox, kill players in game, etc. The main reason exploits were a lot more powerful back then was because of this thing called filtering disabled. With filtering enabled, nobody would be able to see any of your exploits, mainly things like B tools or F3X. Whereas with filtering disabled, everyone will see the destruction you caused to the server. It got to the point where in 2018, every game on Roblox was forced to switch to filtering enabled, causing a lot of Roblox games from years ago to completely break. A big part of why Roblox did this was because a little girl was on Roblox around 2017. She joined a server with an exploiter in it, and soon the exploiter began to do illegal things with the girl's character in game. I won't describe it here for obvious reasons, but the mother of the girl saw what was happening and took it to the news, who eventually started reporting the disgusting things done on Roblox. Because of this, Roblox's reputation was in jeopardy. It was either do nothing or quickly stop the exploiters, and they went with the latter. This update not only infuriated exploiters, but all Roblox players at the time who loved playing their childhood games, only for them to be broken. Because of this, the only way to exploit with filtering disabled scripts was to have a game with a backdoor, basically meaning an access point that helps to bypass any security measures Roblox put in place to stop exploiters. But in order to quote-unquote backdoor Roblox games, you need to have a Roblox game with a backdoor script installed, either from a dev adding a free model with a virus they found in the toolbox, or by the devs adding it themselves, which kind of defeats the entire purpose of exploiting in the first place. But if you thought it couldn't get worse for exploiters, Roblox in 2022 added this thing called Bifron, which helped to detect any exploit software running on an exploiter's computer, banning anyone who has exploits running. This practically killed the drive of a lot of exploiters and is another reason why exploiting is no longer common on Roblox. A famous Roblox executor named Synapse fell victim to this Bifron update in 2022, and eventually the dev team who worked on it teamed up with Roblox sometime around 2024, causing them to be seen as backstabbers to the whole exploiting community. Regardless, whether or not you like exploiters, you have to admit that the Force FE update from 2018 definitely ruined a lot of classic Roblox games like Thrillville Park by JJ5X5. And I didn't even mention how Roblox shut down filtering disabled games for like a month in 2018, only allowing the friends of the devs who made the games to play it until they eventually released their Force FE update. The last major thing I wanted to talk about in this video was the Roblox community in 2015. Considering I was a kid back in 2015, I don't remember too much about the actual community at the time, so this is really just based off the interactions I remember having in game. And surprisingly, not much has changed throughout the years. You still have the weirdos, basically the ones who do illegal activities involving the youth and other actual things. I'm censoring myself because I don't want YouTube to get mad at me. You got the normal players who just kind of exist, not much to talk about with them. And you have the kids who also just existed back then. The Roblox community back then was just as toxic, if not more toxic. It's like 2/3 of the games you joined back then had someone toxic in the chat who was more than likely a child. And they would always either call you a little kid or a 9-year-old, despite them also being kids. And they'd say corny things like "no you" when you try to bring up valid arguments. The usual. And I think part of the reason why Roblox back then felt more toxic was because of the era it was in. 2015 was a time when you could say some of the most vile things known to mankind and get away with it, especially on YouTube. And this allowed people to say horrendous and toxic things in Roblox chat without others in game getting mad as well. Especially since the Roblox chat moderation back then was a lot more looser. It was so easy to bypass chat back then. All you needed to do was add an extra letter to whatever crazy thing you wanted to say. Also, I feel like the weirdos on Roblox back then were just as prevalent as they are now. They were just a lot harder to find considering this was a time when exposed videos or documents weren't as common. You only really had people like Starman 3 getting exposed, Mr. Obvious getting exposed. I think that was it for real. Another thing I wanted to bring up was that the Roblox community back then was so much smaller. 2015, if I recall correctly, was the year Roblox hit 100 million users, which is still a huge number, but it's nothing compared to like 4 billion or however many users exist now. This made Roblox feel almost like a tight-knit community, especially since it wasn't common you'd find someone in real life who also played Roblox. But for real though, I think Roblox being a more tight-knit community was a big part of why it had such a charm to me back then. Nowadays, Roblox is so big, you have sub-communities within Roblox that just don't relate to one another. And I don't know, it almost feels isolating in a way. It just doesn't have that same vibe. I can't really put it into words, but I know someone watching this will understand what I mean. Overall, apart from the platform gaining more players throughout the years, causing it to feel less connected, the Roblox community in terms of its flaws has mostly stayed the same. For the last section of this video, I want to talk about a bunch of different updates on Roblox that happened throughout the years that I couldn't fit into this video. These were the ones that popped into my head when writing the script for this video. Like for example, the removal of user-made ads. This was definitely one of the worst updates Roblox has ever done. It removed a big way for small devs to get traction. This update literally had no reason to happen. Another one was discontinuing the messages feature. Personally, I wasn't too sad about this one, but it definitely bummed me out a little bit when I first heard about it, since I did use the old messages feature as a kid. Two updates that has to be talked about is definitely R15 and Rthro, which used to be called Anthro. Looking back, R15 wasn't that bad. I still remember the day it came out like it was yesterday. One day in 2016, I logged into Roblox like normal and saw that people had weird looking walking animations. With Rthro, however, I hate it. I've gotten so used to it that I completely forgot how much I hated it back then. It sort of defeats the purpose of Roblox, which was always meant to be a blocky styled game, not a game with human-like avatars. The removal of Builders Club also bummed me out as a kid. I still think that in terms of how Roblox distributed the Robux you got with Builders Club, it was better. And I say this because Roblox only gives you a set number of Robux once a month with premium, whereas with Builders Club, you got a set amount of Robux every day, which was way more convenient in case you wanted to get a cheap item but you just didn't have enough Robux yet. But that's my only complaint about the removal of Builders Club. Moving on to tickets, on one of my Roblox accounts from 2016, I actually own the tickets tab, which is pretty cool. I don't remember tickets enough to really say whether or not I thought the removal of them sucked, but I did find out that you used to get 10 tickets every time someone joined your game, so it's a shame a feature like that doesn't exist anymore unless a premium player joins your game. Guess getting removed was also a pretty stupid update looking back, and I know exactly why Roblox removed them in the first place. Because they wanted to force players into making their own Roblox accounts to boost their user base. Which sucks because guests allowed you to try Roblox and see whether or not you wanted to make an account, and I think that's super cool. But finally, we have the removal of forums. I think that the removal of forums was also a really stupid update because here's the thing, Roblox didn't bother to properly moderate it in the first place. So naturally, when things did end up getting posted into the forums, they were so lazy that instead of taking proper action, they'd rather remove the forums entirely. The concept of Roblox forums was actually super cool, a hub for players on the platform to discuss whatever sounds great, but Roblox decided to be lazy and pull the plug instead of actually putting the effort. And with that being said, that's all the extra little updates that I had in mind relating to old Roblox. If you stayed to the end, you are in fact a real one. I always like looking back at childhood nostalgia, whether it be like old YouTube, old Roblox, old Minecraft, places from my childhood I used to always visit around my city, whatever. If you have any ideas of what other nostalgic things you want me to talk about, put it in the comments below. And please, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It pushes my videos into the algorithm. It also motivates me to publish more videos like this. Anyways, that's it from me though. See y'all.